Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to our channel. With me today, my buddy John Claude, and he will be talking about the importance of time.
Again, Fad, thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Jean-Claude, and I am, I don't know what I can say, I'll say I consider myself should I say public servant, because that's what my current job is. That's my day job. I'm a public servant, but I also believe that I'm a community um, development enthusiast. I'm using that word often these days. So that means that, I just love anything that has something to do with community. I love harmony. So, um, as you may know, Canada is a very diverse community. It's a very diverse society, and I often, I find it so beautiful when I see people from different parts of the world. So I feel like my job is to make it work. So all these people who come from different areas, different religions, different belief systems, different races, I always find like I'm compelled to try and make it work for everyone, to create that common area. So I have done a few youth programs. I think that's why I met FAT. I was a youth leader with the city of Kitchener. And again, our job was very simple. Again, was to just create a community where where young people could come and just feel safe and play. I've also worked in different volunteering, positions as well. I have coached soccer. I've volunteered on, day camps. And if you kind of like piece it all together, it's just me trying to create a community for everyone to belong to. So that's how I see myself. I mean, there are so many other things that I can say. I'm also an artist. I love to sing. I love to draw. I do all this other stuff. But yeah, that's just me in a
All right, JC, my first question for you is why is time so important to you?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's something that I'm still learning, because I can't say that I have become a perfectionist or that I've come up with the best solution in that area. But I'm still learning about, time and all that, even time management myself. I'm still learning about that and how to go around it. So I'll say time is important to me because, in the Canadian context, time is everything, right? Time is money. Time is your relationships as well, because time can determine everything here in Canada. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people are paid per hour, right? So in that sense, you can quantify your your time with money. So for me, I know if I spend, let's say, 7.5 hours working on something, I'm going to get compensated for it. So in that sense, we see that time is valuable in that sense. But I think the most important thing for me is like time with things that I love. For me, that's what actually makes time even much, much more valuable. Things like family. And I think moments like, the quarantine or this lockdown has taught us that time is something that we can never take for granted anymore. The time that you used to spend with your friends or with your colleagues at work, watching a movie, working in a community, that shows that time is really valuable in that sense. I think also it's important for us to know that, like for me, when it comes to things like how to manage my time properly, I try to look at the things that I value, right? Like I just told you right now, I spend about almost 8 hours a day of my life working, earning a living. But each time I come back home, I find myself with about 3 hours to do the things that I love doing the most. So I try so much to maximize, that 3 hours that I have before I go to sleep, right? So in that sense, time becomes like one of these very valuable resources that we can't take for granted, especially in the Canadian society where it's beautiful, it's everything, but time is basically money. So you have to almost like use it like a perishable resource, something that you have at a very high scarcity, right? So you have to be really careful what you decide to invest your time in. You know what I mean? So it's a very delicate resource that you have to use smartly.
And last but not least, what is your advice to all the youths and their parents during this lockdown?
I think it's I talked about it a little bit, which is building those strong family values again, and it's really easy to lose them. I mean, I've been watching your videos, with the children, doing a few projects. I think that's beautiful, and more parents have to adapt that as well. All right, just teaching your children about their cultures, about their heritage, and this is a perfect opportunity for them as well. The other element too is I don't know if it applies to a lot of Singaporean families, but it's that maybe for their children's sake as well, is that giving their children also that opportunity to I don't want to say like to grow, but also to be, let them be at this point, because I know in some families it can be really, it's beautiful to be in the same environment for too long, contained, but sometimes it can also have, like I say, that mental toll on kids, especially I'm going to speak from an immigrant's perspective, whereby a lot of immigrant families may have immigrated to Canada when the kids were young, and so when the kid came to Canada, they have two kind of values that they are competing with internally. They still identify as, let's say, Singaporeans, but also there is this Canadian element that they now possess. And for parents, some parents, it's really hard to understand that that kids are actually fidgeting between these two lines of identity, right? So I'm Canadian, but also I'm expected to have these Singaporean values. And for me, for instance, I'm Congolese, but I'm also Canadian, so I have these two identities. So now how that translates into like day-to-day life, I don't know. Some families may struggle with this because now their kid has this Canadian thingy, but also you expect them to follow certain values, and moments like this can create tension. It can create tension. I'm not saying it will create tension, but it might create tension. So parents have to be very cognizant of that, and so give them that ability, give them that opportunity to smoothly navigate that path, especially in this time, because what you want to do is, like, you want to be supportive, be supportive as possible, but also be willing to listen and to listen to their perspective. So that's for parents. And for kids, honestly, I think the biggest thing that you can do for a parent is honor them, and be respectful to them, and try to listen, because I think listening can be very wow, that's a beautiful artwork. I like it. So yeah, so listening can be a big thing, for all of us, and I think we all have to listen. Parents, youth, listen to each other. Give each other an opportunity to express yourself and to explain yourself, and that might be really good. Now, I'm not an expert, like I said. I am not a counselor, but I'm a man who just transitioned from being a youth. You know what I mean? So I can kind of like understand like both challenges, but I also have a 14-year-old brother, and actually he just turned 15. Yeah, my youngest brother. So I kind of like also have that, I don't want to say parental knowledge, but I can somehow relate to that, because he's a young kid who was grown up in Canada. We still have Congolese values, so it's always interesting to see our interaction, where you have some things that you expect from him, but you don't want to force him to do those things. So what you do is, like, you just empathize with them and listen to them, and hopefully that path can be smooth as we go. You know what I mean? So that's all I can say. We all have a part to play, but respect each other, especially kids. Let's try to respect our parents as much as possible.
Hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned to R&R channel. And till we meet again, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.